Hola, buenos dias, mi gentes. ¿Cómo estás? My name is Atia, love Atia, and I am here. What's that song? I'm still here. Y'all, I am doing a social experiment, and I'm bringing you along for the journey. And I often really battle, right? Honestly, still battling, but it's like my soul keeps saying, it's okay to do this. But my fear is like, girl, this could go very wrong. So the battle is I'm getting to know myself. And I'm in the midst of experiencing grief. I've been experiencing grief for a long time, but really intense grief this last year and a half. And so I lost myself when I've lost my companion. And I feel like, or maybe I should more so say when my companion transitioned, because I don't believe that death is a loss. I think that death is inevitable. I think that it's a part of the circle of life, no pun intended, but it still affects us here on earth, right? And I'm learning about just life and living. And honestly, I think that the more that I can get comfortable with loss, or like I said, it's not loss, but I'm keeping all of that in. I'm keeping all of that in because I told myself that I'm not going to edit out things as I'm working through things, unless they're like really detrimental. Because that's what this is. Okay, the intention of this is to show up imperfectly, but perfectly. I think that as a Virgo, I strive so much to be so like together, and I guess appear like I'm together. I don't fucking know. I didn't think this through, but like, fuck it. I'm just gonna let myself talk and process. I'm also really hot, and I think that's fucking me up. And the sound is probably gonna fuck up this video, but like, I can't sit here and torture myself and be hot like this. And I feel like that's why I can't think. Okay. So the social experiment is practicing non-perfection while also practicing living fearfully. I think that I didn't always have a fear of being perceived. And I think that I still don't have 100% of a fear of being perceived, but I think there's definitely like 30% of me that does not like, being perceived, mostly because I had this like spiritual attack on social media one time on TikTok. And I think that scarred me more than I really let it be known. I saw Blue Centric, she's a creator, and she had posted on Threads that going viral is literally a shock to your nervous system and your energy, and nobody really acknowledges that. And it's so true. When I see a video going viral, that means that so many people are literally looking at my face. They're pouring into my video. They might be extracting energy from my video. They might be saying negative shit. Like, it's such an interesting phenomena. So even with these videos, I think to myself, okay, I have a goal, right? My goal is to get 10K subscribers on YouTube. That's my goal, first goal. But I also think to myself, that's a lot of fucking people looking at me. I just feel like back in the day, I wanted to be so famous. And now I'm like, actually, I think it might be okay if I'm not famous. Like, maybe fame is not what I'm looking for. But I also know so many people who come on the internet and leave their mark, and then they just disappear. They're like, actually, I don't even want to participate in this anymore. They've deleted their whole accounts and stuff. So, that can also be a thing for me that I can do. It's not like I always have to be stuck in the ether, or like let people have access to my energy. So I'm just going to practice. And if this fucking goes wrong, then it's going to go the way it's supposed to go. And I just have to have faith that I can protect my own energy. The true main focus of this is honestly for me to really work through decentering men. But when it comes to decentering men, I also am working on recentering myself. Because I think that sometimes if we get so focused on decentering men, that's still centering men. Like, if I make my whole purpose to be decentering a man, why is my focus solely on that, So I would just like to have reflective conversations and try to figure out where we went wrong, where I feel like I kind of figured that out, like society, but also patterns within myself that I am trying to break out of. So I think I want today's episode to firstly be about male friendships. And that just came to me, but it's also been on my mind for a while. And I think I should give y'all a bit of a background on the friendships that I've had over the years and how they've occurred. I think that would be helpful. And I honestly just sometimes need to verbally reflect for myself. But I'm going to take a drink break. And just so you know, I am going to practice speaking slowly and thinking before I speak. Sometimes I think that I speak so quickly that my thoughts don't always have a chance to like keep up with my psyche. And so, yeah, there's that. And I'm also a bit dehydrated because I literally sweat for like the entire night last night. It was ridiculous. But if you don't like my slow talking, maybe this video is just not for you. And I think that that's the philosophy that I want to have in life. I think that social media has literally made us create these versions of ourselves that we're like, okay, I'm gonna be moldable so that people can stay, right? So they say, okay, if you want people to stay on your video, like have a great hook. And then you like kind of miss like you don't miss the point, but it's just I don't know. I'm just so tired of the racket of social media. Like, what if I don't want to start off with a hook? What if I just want to fucking vent and speak? People can fast forward if they want, you know? So I don't want to be malleable. I think that's the word. I want to just be me. And then whoever is able to embrace me are my people. And that's what I'm trying to attract here. Speaking of my people, let's break it down when it comes to friendships, especially with, I'm going to say with men and women, to be honest with you. Because I've had different patterns in both. And I'm open to creating new friendships in both. And I think that at one point I did think that I wanted a human companion, and I thought I wanted to connect romantically with people. And if I'm really being honest deep down inside, I do still want intimacy and I crave intimacy. But I think that there's a missing puzzle piece that I can figure out while we are chatting on this series of like finding myself and decentering men and recentering myself. And I say this because when I think about what a romantic gesture would be, like somebody taking me out and us having like really great conversations and getting dressed up and then like going, I guess, back to my house or their house or a hotel, whatever the fuck, and like cuddling and still having beautiful conversations while we're cuddling and kissing, and it could stop there, to be honest with you. What is that? That could be a friend you kiss. Maybe I'll create that category, like friends I kiss. Maybe my problem is that I'm trying to stay too in the box. Sometimes I also think that I want great things consistently. I talked to my therapist about this. Like, I want happiness consistently. Like, it just feels like every time I have like a piece of happiness, it just goes away within 24 hours. And I don't want to put that out there, but it does just feel like that. Like, I remember it was February of 2025, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, universe, thank you, ancestors, like, I'm so thankful, everything is just falling into place, like, this has been so hard of a life, like, I'm so thankful, so I just felt like this immense amount of gratitude, right? And then the next fucking month, my cat died. I said, wow, all right, guess who's never fucking feeling gratitude again? So it's like, I think that scarred me, but my whole point of that, well, what's my point of that? I'm neurodivergent. I do have ADHD. So we're going to be bouncing around a lot. And it's crazy because I did have a former friend who had told me, or I think it was a friendship. I believed it was a friendship. But if I reflect on it, I don't know, maybe it was a trauma bond, who knows? But they used to tell me like my podcast was kind of all over the place and like maybe I should do an outline, which would be helpful for like the audience to follow along. And I kind of got in my head about that. I think sometimes when people give neurodivergent people a critique, we take it and we run with that shit. So like when she gave me that critique, I was like, oh my God, like people are probably also having a hard time keeping up. Like I need to switch that up. I need to keep my thoughts concise. And then that stressed me out. And then I wasn't inspired to want to make my podcast anymore. So I was like, you know what? I can find a medium between this. Like I can still be my beautiful ADHD self and have like a slight umbrella of an outline in case I veer off so far left to the point where like I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. So back to the friendships. creating new categories was where I was at. Kissing friends. I just feel like I have so much unlearning to do when it comes to societal standards of relationships and of friendships. And I also think that I'm so in my head about how I'm showing up. I'm always thinking, and I'm also in other people's head too. So not only am I in my head, I'm in other people's heads as well, which is like a lot. Thinking what they're thinking about. So that I'm not even really in the moment. You know, I'm on Hinge. This is not a fucking ad because obviously, like, I'm here making this video venting to y'all about wanting to make connections because I've been on Hinge since March because I had to go to LA and I was like, well, let me make it let me add some spice to it, but I didn't need to. I actually decided that I wanted to spend time by myself and it was like the best fucking LA trip I'd ever had. Although me and my dad did have some great LA trips, but it was a bit sentimental for me because that's usually our spot to go to. But I say all of that to say, when I'm like scrolling on Hinge, I feel like I get this like dopamine boost from like people shopping, and when somebody matches with me, I get a dopamine boost, and I'm like, yeah, I'm matched. Like, let's start this conversation, and then we start the conversation, and I'm just like, I actually don't know if I want to keep talking. And you know what's crazy? I don't always feel this way. I love when I speak to people that are conversationalists. Like, I feel like I'm having a conversation with somebody and like we started off by talking about how bad people are at conversations. And then like we're able to just snowball into a great conversation after that. But then there are other people and like I used to think I equated paragraphs and stuff like that to a good conversation. But it's like, are these paragraphs of bullshit? Like, are these paragraphs, what are these, you know, like what do you say? Like, what is this? And I try to listen to my spirit. And so there's also the flip side of, I feel like I see a pattern of when I meet somebody and I feel like I connect with them. Oh, that was what I was saying. The happiness. Yes. Like wanting to, I told you I'll always come back to wanting to like have these happy moments consecutively. So like I have had meetups with people that have been really good, right? But they're far and fucking few in between. Like when I say people, I mean like two. And so shit, maybe just one if I'm being honest with you. But there's like, and I say that because I have had meetups with people that I've like last year that were so fucking fucked up. These people like had no social skills at all. And you like, I'm fucking homeschooled and shit. Like all the things that people say like, oh, I wouldn't have social skills. No, these motherfuckers didn't have social skills. But anyways, can you see my sarong? I think it's so cute. But then so because like the positive experiences are so far and few in between, I'm like, I want them all the time, but I also don't want to be like inorganic, and I don't want to be obsessive or compulsive, you know. And I think that I have definitely observed that within my personality. There's such a thin line between like policing ourselves and then just letting ourselves be unapologetically. But for me, I think when it comes to policing myself, or more so being observant of certain things and wanting to heal certain things, it's like, would I want somebody to be this way about me? So would I want somebody to be obsessive about me? No. Would I want somebody to be compulsive about me? No. I want somebody to be fucking chill. Just chill. Let's just be normal. Let's be cool. You know? Water break. I'm so mad I'm gonna have to edit this video and just put that beginning part with this one. I should have just kept on going, but it's okay. So yeah, I think that maybe one of the things that I can really continue to work on is detaching from the outcome of these positive experiences. For instance, there was a butterfly that visited me and I know exactly who she was, and she stayed with me on my window for 13 hours. 13 freaking hours. She stayed from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I had so much anxiety that night. I literally woke up, I want to say damn near every hour on the hour, to make sure she was still there and like still alive and still okay, because I didn't want her to go and I didn't want her to think that I was forgetting about her. And I think she was my cat, to be honest with you. And it did bring back a lot of memories of my last night with my cat, and I didn't want her to go, and like I kept checking on her. And I felt like I was going to be so sad when she left. And so when she left, like when she flew away, I missed it. I had actually gone to the kitchen and I said, I'm going to be back. And I think I said, but like, if you go, I love you. I don't know. I said something to her. And I went to the kitchen to go get some food because I was hungry. And then when I came back, she was gone. And I think that I could focus on the ending, right? Like the focus on the fact that she left, but I could also focus on the fact that a butterfly just spent 13 hours with me. A butterfly felt safe enough to sit on my window and be with me for 13 hours. I've never seen a butterfly sit somewhere for 13 hours. And like, unless she was trying to give birth or make a cocoon. I don't fucking know. But like, no, obviously a butterfly's not going to make a cocoon. But you get what I'm saying. So yeah, that definitely helped me just remember like about the outcome of things and not necessarily feeling the need to be attached to that, because I think that's one of the things that bring me anxiety, right? When it comes to meeting people. And even when it comes to dating, it's like, do I really want to date? What is dating? That just seems so contrived. Like, why can't we just be friends? Why can't I just have friends? And then if the friendship ends up being something that feels a bit more romantic, then that's okay. I'm just so used to stuff being so contrived. I am. Where did that come from? Let's figure that out. Where did me feeling like it had to be organized like that come from? When I was younger, no, that was spontaneous. When I was younger, I had a crush on this boy. His name was Tyler, and I always wondered whatever happened with him because he never came back to camp. But I was at a social, and he came over to me, and he kissed me on the cheek, and I felt like that was amazing. I had a disposable camera, and I had a homegirl who I thought had taken a picture of us. She was such a hater, and I feel like she had a crush on me. Oh my God, yo, like this is... Anyways, I still have to say it. I'm like, no, but that was a natural, organic moment. I didn't contrive that. That was just a cute 11-year-old, he kissed me on the cheek moment. That was very, very cute. I had a crush when I was 13, maybe even 12, and I wrote him a letter, like expressing my feelings for him, and I gave it to him when we were on the bus. And he took it and he ripped it up. I feel like that was a canon event for sure that I don't really necessarily acknowledge. He ripped that shit up in front of all of our friends. That shit was devastating. Did I cry? I might even cry. I don't know. I want to cry now. That's so fucking fucked up. That's why you got mad kids now, stupid ass bum. What else? So that was just me being a teen though. Like I wasn't contrived. I just really wanted to write him a little letter. Once again, like all of the most magical moments I've had have been very organic. My first kiss, I got on a bus and I had missed the bus that I like originally was supposed to get on, but I really was supposed to get on this one because as I'm on this bus, I think they're about to pull off and like this whole fucking group of tall ass black men are outside of the bus and they all get on the bus before he pulls off, and lo and behold, it's my crush that I had been talking to online for forever. Or not for forever, but for a little while. And so we sat and talked with each other. And then we had our first kiss. That shit was so fucking cute. Like, I really do love my life. Like, as much as I've had a lot of trauma, I have had some really fucking cute moments. Like, if I was to write a movie about my life, that I should do that. I should really write a movie about my life because it was just so cute. And I don't want nobody else writing a movie about my life because y'all don't even fucking know. Y'all don't know the half. So yeah, I thought that the first kiss was organic. I didn't say like, oh, meet me on this bus. So that was really cute. Does he know that he was my first kiss? Probably. I'm just trying to go through it in my head of like all the interactions I've had with guys to try to figure out when it became contrived. I had a best friend who I like truly believed was my soulmate at the time. And took him to prom. But it was my 12th grade prom, so I feel like that wasn't contrived. But maybe it was slightly, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, of course, if I have a crush on him, I'm gonna take him to prom. Like, there was some meaning behind it. But what's crazy is that, like, we didn't kiss, we didn't dance for real like that. If I'm being honest with you, I don't even really fully remember that night. Like, mostly because it was just, oh my God, like, it's always a bitch fucking shit up. There was this girl, and she liked my best friend and was like all up on him. And it's like, but she's my, what are you doing? Oh, she was so thirsty. But it's so funny because that night I remember he was like, yeah, like our mutual best friend, he was like, yeah, they were saying like they thought that we were gonna kiss. I wish that I had a little bit more swag, because I would be like, we should have. Maybe that's the thing, like being more bold now. Maybe I need to be more bold in honor of little me. But I think that, like I said, I just am so scared of coming off as obsessive. Let's look up the definition of obsessive. Thoughts, feelings, or behaviors dominated by a persistent, often intrusive, and distressing preoccupation with a single area, person, or activity. And for me, I think that it becomes like the dopamine boost. So even like, say that my crush texts me, right? It's like, oh my God, like I got a text from or like my crush or whatever, or like somebody I'm attracted to reaches out to me on Hinge or whatever. Somebody sends me a DM and I think that they're cute and the conversation is flowing. Like those are the dopamine boosts. So is the thing to give myself more dopamine, so that when I do have those instances of dopamine with other people, it's not as heavy, or it's not as like, ooh, I don't want to jump on it so fast. I think also times where I'm really focused on other things and like kind of distracted with other things, I think that is very helpful as well. By the way, by the end of this video, like this needs to be done because I need to be rehydrated, because I literally know that I'm dehydrated. I really think it's the dopamine boost. Going back to when I became a bit obsessive. I'll take it back to the guy that I had my first kiss with. I think I was very like fixated on him. And it was something new. And that's also when social media became involved. I think that also played a part. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, I had a crush on this other guy, but I don't think that I was obsessive about him. But I also couldn't really check for him because social media wasn't necessarily really a thing at that time for real like that. And so I was able to focus on other things and not necessarily be distracted or want to like go check on something of his. Let's fast forward. After him, there was the guy that I made out with, and I asked him to rate me between 1 and 10, like my kisses, because it was my first time like making out, and he rated me a 2. And then I had the nerve to ask him again, and he rated me a 5. So there was that. I love that I'm forgetting people that I fucked around with. Like, that's really... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I had a sequence. Oh, my gosh. That's when it all started. Yeah. Okay, so now that I'm sitting here, like, going back on the timeline, it was around the time of my parents' official divorce. My parents got divorced when I was 15. It was, like, divorce, puberty... And I would just bounce from crush to crush to crush to crush to crush. Let me see if I can find an article that talks about this. Like, I become... Limerence. Limerence. That's what it is. Limerence. I'm just gonna type in limerence. Limerence blog. And see if anybody's written about this. Ooh, living with limerence. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. Okay, let's do this. Should limerence feel guilty about their limerence? And this is from June 20th, 2026. Oh, this is, guys, I feel so seen. Because it's like, I'm literally obsessive. And I'm like, but I'm not like sitting there doing Ouija boards over these people. Like, that's not necessarily what I feel like I'm doing, but limerence. First, let me just go and give you the definition of limerence before I do this. Definition of limerence. I said definition, bitch. Limerence is an intense, involuntary state of romantic obsession and infatuation characterized by intrusive thoughts, a desperate longing for reciprocation, and an emotional high and low cycle tied to the object of affection. Coined by psychologist Dorothy Denove, it is often described as a form of love addiction rather than mature love. Okay, so back to the blog. Should limerence feel guilty about their limerence? Limerence is a wild ride, a giddying, intoxicating, romantic high that takes over your mind and makes one person the absolute focal point of attention. If you're looking for love, that mental state can be great. If your limerent object is a good match, then you might just get to enjoy the thrills of ecstatic union. But limerence isn't great when you have already found love. When you are... This is not... I'm so pissed. This is not what the fuck... When you are in a stable long-term relationship that is funded... No. Alright, guys. We're going to try to find another one because I'm... Let's go back to her original... Y'all... I thought I found something! False love. Is limerence all bad? Let's do this one. Although okay, by the way, this is by Tom DRL, and it's on the site Living with Limerence. Although the title of this site is Living with Limerence, and so could seem analogous to living with diabetes or living with OCD, limerence isn't all bad. Most limerents, if given the opportunity of a permanent liberoid economy, would empathetically decline. Limerence can be one of the most euphoric experiences in life, although my personal experience is limited. I'm sure it feels like a chemical high. If your LO, what's LO? Love of? Is a worthy person, and if they can, while unable to offer consumption, at least reciprocate enough to make you feel like a happy fool rather than a complete fool, then their company can be intoxicating and exhilarating. Turning off limerence would be akin to willingly sedating oneself. And while limerence for a toxic LO can be a catastrophe, to be incapable of limerence for a worthy LO would be awful. I'm getting aggravated. What is LO? I'm still going to try to read this and then we'll see. When Tanav defined limerence, she did not frame it as a pathology. It was described as a common set of experiences that, while having the potential to be distressing, could be the prelude to healthy affectional bonding. Later, researchers have steered limerence towards the pathological end of the spectrum of emotional states, reserving the term of circumstances that cause overt suffering and mental distress to the limerent. I have some sympathy for this position because limerence is a positive context. Limerence in a positive context is probably not so distinct from the non-limerent experience of romantic love, especially if the absence of uncertainty prevents a full nucleation. Nevertheless, the fact that limerence can turn pathological in the wrong set of circumstances shouldn't be a cause to reject the phenomenon wholesale as a negative life experience. The optimist in me wants to believe that it is possible to benefit for the capacity of limerence and use the energy associated with it to productive ends. I guess only limerence will determine whether the attempt to capitalize from limerence is riding a stallion or riding a tiger. You know what? I get it. I know what the problem is. First of all, it's a man writing this, and it's like really annoying when men write. No offense to Tom. I can't. I gotta find something from a woman's perspective. I'm sorry. Oh, a cure for limerence? Okay. This is from Holly Patterson. Okay. Is this going to make me pay to read the rest? No. All right, Holly, let's go. Wait, first, water break. My nervous system feels so much better just being. I guess it's kind of like streaming, right? Maybe that would be my thing. Like, I'm just gonna act like I'm streaming, because you can take breaks and shit. Like, you don't have to fucking just be on go. And I feel like when I'm making my podcast or whatever, I have to be on go for an hour. Almost done. Limerence isn't just a crush, it's an obsession. Okay, so I was right when I said obsessive. An all-consuming fixation that often feels like love, but maybe it is, and maybe it is in its own way. But what sets limerence apart is its intensity. It's the way someone is put on a pedestal, the idolizing, regardless of whether you truly know the person or not, that sets it apart from a crush. This often shows up during the infatuation stage of a new relationship, but limerence doesn't require a relationship at all. It can take root before anything begins, or even when nothing will ever happen. At its core, limerence is a borderline unhealthy romantic obsession with someone. Side note, I'm sorry, this is giving me the burps. But I had a limerence crush on somebody, and I was in this nigga's DMs like fucking back to back to back to back to back. It was ridiculous. And it was like, not only was I in his DMs, but I was sending him paragraphs. He was replying though, so I guess he didn't hate it because he didn't have to fucking reply. Anyways. At its core, limerence is a borderline unhealthy romantic obsession with someone. So how do you move past it? Therapy, turning inward and working on yourself, finding a new outlet or hobby? The answers aren't easy, but breaking free starts with recognizing it for what it is. I think all of those approaches can be good if they work for you, but for me, they never did. It always unsettled me to idolize someone. It clashed with my sense of logic. Maybe that means I was never truly limerent, but the highs and lows still hit hard. Eventually, I grew completely sick of it. How dare someone hold that much power over my feelings or emotions? So, what's the cure? Other than outright defiance? Defiance works for a while, but the feeling always circles back. Because feelings are energy, and energy doesn't disappear. It has to go somewhere. When I was younger and caught up in those feelings, I started drawing the person, or sometimes the two of us together. I never thought of myself as an artist back then. See how I'm reading this so much better because it's fucking written by a woman? But that's where my energy went. Some of my best work, my best portraits, are of my ex-boyfriend. But limerence didn't really loosen its grip until I began writing. I type out conversations in Notepad, the Microsoft program, folks, or sketch little stories, or imagine our playful banter and put it into words on paper. And this went on for years of writing, years of dating, and years of relationships that didn't last. Damn. I just had a memory. This sounds like me. The turning point didn't... What? The turning point didn't come until I took those fragments, these short stories, and refined them into complete works with real plots and structure. That's when everything shifted. Names have changed. Real events aren't even mentioned. This fantasy is not reality. To this day, I still write. Whether anyone reads these romantic stories or not, they hold the energy of someone who once loved deeply. Feelings that have long since faded with time. If I was ever truly limerent, it's gone now. What remains is peace of mind. Then why the fuck was that at the end of the article? Like, that just got me so fucking mad. I'm thinking she's gonna give us a list of shit to do. Bitch, right? Oh my god. I can't even lie though. That is a very good that is very good advice, but I will say, like, it's not the end all be all, because I had limerence for my ex and I wrote a whole fucking like web series about it. I did. I wrote it out. I think the only thing was that I didn't make it have an end. So that, like, it literally left off where we left off. And then I recorded it. I felt like I went through it. I processed it. But then I still ended up in a fucked up relationship with him for 2 fucking years, or 2.5 years. So it's like, I don't really know if that was really all that helpful for me. And drawing the person just feels kind of a bit wild. I guess I'm just not that fucking limerent. I get what she's saying though. Like, I don't think it's bad advice. I didn't mean to call her a bitch. I'm sorry, girl, if you're listening to this. What's her name? Holly? I'm sorry, Holly. But okay. This video is not really for me to be like, oh, I have a solution, here's an answer. But I did just think that maybe if we did some research on it, that it would be able to give us some fucking insight. I'm gonna try one more shit. How to overcome limerence. Okay, I'm just gonna type in limerence and not put the word blog. Maybe I should look on Reddit. Sometimes, honestly, they have the best shit. Guys, somebody please tell me what the fuck LO is, because it's pissing me off. Oh, limerent object. Thank you, girl. Thank you. Oh my fucking god. Okay. So this person says that they're quoting from Wikipedia. And this is from Reddit. It says, I just learned what limerence is, and it was disturbingly eye-opening. From Wikipedia, limerence is the term for romantic infatuation, and it's apparently not healthy, even though it's basically the only basis I've been using for my dating. So, whoops. I thought all people felt this way when they first met someone, and that's what a crush or falling in love is like. But apparently, plot twist, it's bad. I don't like to use the word good or bad, but is this why I'm so messed up romantically and my only experiences have been abusive relationships, trauma bonding, and unrequited obsession? This is why I fucking love Reddit. This is why I love Reddit, yo. I be feeling so seen on here. And you know, I stopped going on Reddit because Love Island was fucking me up. Like, my Love Island feed has changed tremendously. Like, it's just a whole bunch of fucking kids, I feel like, talking about Love Island on there now, and their takes are horrible. So I forgot that Reddit like, Reddit is so helpful. I need to download this on my phone again. Okay. This is not an ad. This could also explain why everyone's always telling me to date people who are interesting and nice, but whom I have no feelings for, and I can't bring myself to do it. Guess I'm waiting for this limerence feeling, which apparently only 35 to 50% of people experience at all. I have a podcast episode on my podcast, the I Actually Don't Give a Fuck podcast. And there's an episode featuring Nadine from the Social Butterfly podcast. And she talks about limerence. And that was very fucking eye-opening for me as well. I think it's season 2. And alternatively, it explains why I'm afraid to talk to people I'm attracted to. Like, I'm more intensely afraid of being around them than I am of interacting with a stranger. I put them on such a pedestal and I don't think I'm worthy. This explains why I'm so bad at dating. I'm sorry, I thought my nose doesn't have it in my nose ring. Okay, so it says intrusive thoughts, intrusive thinking about the object of your passionate desire, the limerent object, or LO, who is a possible sexual partner. These are some like bullet points now. Acute longing for reciprocation, dependency of mood of limerent objects, actions, or more accurately, your interpretation of limerent objects, actions with respect to the probability of reciprocation, inability to react limerently to more than one person at a time. Exceptions occur only when limerence is at a low ebb early on or in the last fading. Some fleeting and transient relief from unrequired limerent passion through vivid imagination of action by the limerent object. That means reciprocation. I don't know what that means. Fear of rejection and sometimes incapacitating, but always unsettling shyness in the limerent object's presence, especially in the beginning and whenever uncertainty strikes. Intensification through adversity, at least up until a point. Acute sensitivity to any act or thought or condition that can be interpreted favorably, and an extraordinary ability to devise or invent reasonable explanations for why the neutrality that the disinterested observer might see is in fact a sign of hidden passion in the limerent object. Oh my god. Shit. An aching of the heart, a region in the center front of your chest. Why would they explain that? When uncertainty is strong. Oh, they're just saying like in the front of your chest. I know where the heart is. When uncertainty is strong. Although sometimes I do forget the heart's on the right side or the left side. Because I don't think it's in the middle. Is it in the middle? Anyways, maybe they didn't tell me that. Buoyancy, a feeling of walking on air when reciprocation seems evident. A general intensity of feeling that leaves other concerns in the background. A remarkable ability to emphasize what is truly admirable in the LO and to avoid dwelling on the negative, even to respond with a compassion for the negative and render it emotionally, if not perpetually, into another positive attribute. I have chills. I literally have chills. This is me as shit. So what do we do about it? Do you have trouble with relationships in general or just romantic ones? The fact that you're having trouble telling the difference between healthy and limerent attachment suggests that you may need to look deeper into that. It's definitely something you have to dig deeper to unroot. I feel like I've had poor modeling and some childhood neglect that formed this limerence quality in me personally. I wish I knew what to do about it other than abstaining from dating. That was literally me. It's been a while since I seriously dated, but I've learned a lot about myself. I think I might have ROCD, relationship OCD, but not 100% sure. And then somebody quoted from Psychology Today. Limerence is a state of involuntary obsession with another person. The experience of limerence is different from love and lust in that it is based on the uncertainty of the person that you desire, called the limerent object, LO. In the literature, also described about you, desires about you. Since limerence is the desire to be desired. Oh. Yeah. It is a cognitive as well as physical and emotional experience, as a focus of limerence is whether or not the object of desire reciprocates the feelings. Rather than actually falling in love with the person, it is almost always one-sided. Infatuation and crushes are healthy expressions of emotions. This doesn't seem healthy at all. Somebody said, maybe I'm just prone to limerence. But isn't it normal to want the other person to reciprocate the feelings or to be desired? I understand an obsession with it isn't healthy, but just wanting to be desired feels pretty normal to me, which I agree with. Okay, somebody said, here's a good way to separate it. Limerence. When I'm with them, I feel fine or a bit happy. When I'm apart, I feel devastated and I feel like I can't function. I don't think that that's what limerence is. I don't think that this is true. Regular romantic attraction. When I'm with them, I feel happy. When I'm apart, I feel fine. I can function with them and I can function without them and live. What? I'm not mentally crippled without nah. This girl said, "Girl, this was me too. I was always looking for Prince Charming and happily ever after, and I would try and fit every person I dated into that space. It's not a thing. It's actually a fairy tale. So I got a couple of dogs instead. I've never been happier." Exactly, yo. Exactly. Now, I would say that, like, I can't get a dog. I can't. It's just too much. But I really did think about adopting a cat. And it's crazy because I've been home so much. Like, I've been home so much. It's pissing me off. All right. Somebody suggested these YouTube videos. But I'm going to watch them first, and then I'll let you know if I think, if I think that they're good or not. Okay, just one more thing I want to read, and then I'll wrap up this video. I can't believe this is a fucking almost an hour. It says, these feelings are oriented around a few things. 1, low self-esteem, self-worth. 2, a lack of boundaries for self and others. 3, experiences from previous relationships or examples of relationships. You will commonly see this in the stereotypical nice guy, and it's common to people with ADHD or neurological disorders that can cause emotional dysregulation, I assume such as autism. To the third point of the previous experiences is also a reference to the types of relationships you were exposed to as a child around parents. So if you grew up in a single parent household and your parents were dating around you with these types of examples near you, then it's likely you could have developed the idea of limerence from them through that exposure. Or if your parents had the type of relationship, even if married, it could have an effect. In any case, it seems that you could have a good grasp on how this applies in your life. I would really dive into therapy to uncover some of the root causes of these types of issues because it does stem from a deeper meaning. Yeah, mine definitely comes from childhood. I know that for a fact. I said I can't finish this video until I finish this water, so let's go. Are you drinking? Fuck, it's so much. Okay. I'm gonna wrap this up. I promise I really will finish this by the end of the video. I love this video. I didn't even feel like having good posture. Only for when I wanted you to see my sarong. Please give yourself a hug for me. Don't forget to be kind to yourself, to others, and most importantly to animals. Love you. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Feel free to help me get to 10K. And this was my social experiment part 1.